All right. Thank you so much for joining me today here on the Red Pill Investor podcast, as well as Sell More Homes Now here on YouTube. Thank you so much for joining me here today while we're doing some live prospecting. If this is the very first time that you've joined us, well, then welcome. Thank you so much. I'd highly encourage you to go ahead and hit that notify and subscribe button down there. That way you'll be notified the very next time we get to prospecting. That way you won't miss out on anything. Basically, the way this format goes, I go ahead and I share a little bit of the day's news with you, along with some commentary while we're prospecting. And what hopefully I'm intending with this is really two things. First, to go ahead and maintain my accountability to you. That way I can, practice what I preach, right? I go ahead and I do the same things I tell you to do every day. Plus, it helps me maintain my accountability so that I don't slack off, because I'm just like you. I tend to screw around. And so it's always good for me to know that as soon as I get up in the morning, I need to come in here and get on the phone and prospect with you. And then, of course, secondly, I just hope that you would go ahead and learn something. That we would learn something together through the news, through the commentary, maybe even from the people that we talk to. If we can hear something that our customers say, that our clients say, something that'll help us learn, well, then I think that many times that's going to help us go ahead and perform better in the next sales situation that we're in. Every single time you find yourself in a sales situation, you win, you lose, but you always get a lesson. And the more sales situations you can find yourself in, then obviously the better you're going to get through time. So today is absolutely no different. I've got a bunch of stories set up for us that I think are going to be fascinating as we go through. Plus, we're going to go ahead and do some dialing for dollars. We're going to make sure we get some appointments set today. We're going to pay a special attention to that so that we'll make sure that we don't forget our primary purpose, which is to set appointments. Of course, I had to get my appointment book out while I was sitting there talking about it. I wanted to make sure that I was fully prepared as well. And as I'm looking through my appointment book, I know, I could always use another one. So we're going to do that today as well. But before we do, let's do like we always do and take this to the Lord in prayer. Father, we thank you for this beautiful day. We thank you for our health. We appreciate your love for us, Father, that you would give us another chance to spread your word, to spread your love, to help our society and our communities. Lord, I'd ask that you'd bless the people that we're about to talk to today. I know many of them are going to be upset. Father, I'd ask that you'd forgive them, for they don't know what they're saying. You just look over their anger, Lord. Help me to say the right things that would help them to see how we can help them and not hurt them. And Lord, I'd ask that you'd watch over those who are watching this show or listening to this podcast, that they would be safe today, that they would be blessed and prosperous, and that you would give a special blessing to them. Father, I ask all of these things in your Son's name. Amen. All right, let's get started. So I've got my phone ready. Let me turn it up. There we go. And press start. Now, let's get started. I'm not sure how much. So first, as always,
the extension you have reached is currently busy. If you
okay.
Hello.
Hi, this is Carl Krenzel. How are you today?
I wish you'd quit calling me.
Oh, I'm not sure if I have the right person. Are you the fellow who owns that property on Copper Creek?
No.
Oh,
You've called
gosh.
me. You've called me.
Okay, well, I won't call you no more, my brother. I appreciate your time. Thank you. Have a nice day.
I'm gonna hold you to that.
Oh, okay. Well, you can count on it. Take care. I have no interest in calling you any more than you want me to call you. Don't worry. All right. Good deal. All right. So let's see. Well, that's a good way to get started, right? Get the negative ones out of the way first. Now, Pew Research, the good folks over at Pew Research, right? They did a study here recently about smartphone usage. And it says that 1 in 5 Americans own a smartphone, but do not have traditional broadband service. Okay, meaning that 20% of the American population is using their smartphone as their only source of internet. Okay, they don't have internet at the house or something like that for their laptops. No, they're using.
Hi, you've reached Frank Coates with Whole Foods Market. Please leave a message and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. Thanks and have a great day.
They're there we go. They're using their smartphone as their internet. Okay, so what does that mean for you? Now, traditionally, if you're a real estate agent or a wholesaler, perhaps, especially if you've been in the game for a little while, okay, you've always sort of thought of the internet and your web page as something that the client or customer would look at on their laptop. But if 20% of the population right now is not using broadband service, they're just using their smartphone for their internet, well, then 1 in 5 of your customers is looking at your web page, and it may or may not be optimized for a smartphone. It may, in fact, be optimized for a laptop. And that's fine for 80% of your customers out there. But for 20% of your customers and a growing percentage of them, okay, it looks a little funny. And the reason why I bring this to your attention is because, in this world, think about the way you interact in it. Okay, now I don't know how old you are listening to this podcast or watching me here on YouTube. I'm not really sure your age group. Okay, so I'm going to make a couple assumptions that might be wrong. All right. But I'm going to assume from the outset that you are probably like most everybody else. And if that's the case, if you're like most everybody else, well, doesn't it stand to reason that if the things you do, well, most everybody else might do that too. I mean, like for me, this is the way I look at it. For me, I spend an enormous amount of time on my cell phone and very little on my laptop. I mean, comparatively speaking. I mean, I have a laptop and I use it, don't get me wrong, but I use my cell phone and my smartphone. I tend to look, listen, have my ears plugged into everything. Now, incidentally, I just want to bring this to your attention. We had 26 expireds with 37 phone numbers. Okay. When I just started this a few minutes ago, I told you we were going to press start and all that. I pressed start on that. We were dialing 3 dials at a time with this Vortex dialer. Okay. We ran through every single one of those numbers, though all 37 of those, left a voicemail in that time. And we're done with that already. That's how fast you can flip through some of these numbers. If they're not, and this is 8:30 in the morning, this is a little bit later than I'd hoped, but I mean, you're flipping through numbers quick. Okay. I mean, quick. All right. So let's go ahead and start in here to the for rent by owners. All right. Might get a little bit more, interruption here. So we'll see what happens. Dial. We're going to dial these also 3 at a time. Okay. We're calling the ones that have not answered in the past or we weren't able to get some kind of disposition. So we have a total of 29 prospects that are for rent by owners that we're going to call right now. And we're going to call them 3 at a time. So the phone dialer is going to round, boom, 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 3 at a time. And each one of them has probably 2 numbers or at the most. No, it doesn't look. We have just 1 number each, I guess. So this shouldn't take very long either. So boom, just press start. 3 at a time. Let's see how long it takes to call 29 people, right? Because remember, this is a contact sport. I mean, this is all about your ability to contact a lot of people quickly and determine who amongst them is the most likely candidate that's going to give you a lead or become a lead themselves, right? So as we're getting back to this topic of Pew's research, okay, when they were starting to talk about your smartphone and smartphone usage, okay, the numbers are shocking demographically how it breaks down. Okay, now let me just go ahead and put this out here. 1 in 5 Americans own a smartphone but do not have traditional broadband service. Okay, now listen to how this breaks down. Now, this is not my words. This is not my opinion. Okay, this is Pew Research and their facts that they had. I'm sorry, their surveys that they had done. Okay, and the demographics that they had shown. Now, check this out. Okay, ages 18 to 29, 67% of the people reported that they had broadband at home. Okay, 28% said that they had smartphone but no broadband. And 5% said no broadband or smartphone. Okay. So 18 to 29, 65% of the people said that they had they had broadband at home. So they got something for their internet for their laptop typically at home, right? 30 to 49, all right, you have 70% of the people having broadband at home, 24% saying that they're operating off their smartphone, and 7% with no broadband or smartphone at all. Now, watch how these numbers kind of change as you get older, right? 50 to 64. We all have that brother, a little bit. I got an older brother, right? Broadband at home. He reluctantly has it, right? But he usually goes off his smartphone, right? The broadband at home, 68% of people aged 50 to 64 say that they have broadband at home. And 16% say that they operate off a smartphone. Look at that. So from 18 to 29, all right, 28% of the people who are using the internet say that they're using it from a smartphone. And then when you get to 50 to 64, the number drops down to 16% say that they're using a smartphone, and they have 68% on their web page. Their broadband. Now, who is the client that you're trying to attract? Are you trying to attract that 50 to 64-year-old person who's using the internet at home? Well, so far, you got a pretty good chance, but understand that metric is 16% that's using a cell phone. Currently, 18 to 29-year-olds are 28% of the time using a smartphone, and 67%, which is about the same as the 50 to 64-year-old, is using a smart broadband at home. Now, look at the way that this kind of breaks down. If you, see, here I am talking, and I forgot to press dial. That didn't help.
You have reached Nicole Clifford. I'm unable to get to the phone right now, but if you leave a message, I'll get back to you.
Right, there we go. I was wondering why that phone was going with nothing for so long. It seemed like it was an awful long time without any kind of answer. That seemed awfully odd. Let me turn this down just a little bit. Maybe it won't be quite so loud. There we go. All right. See if that helps.
Hello.
Hi, I'm not sure if you can hear me this time. My phone was giving me some trouble. I'm calling about that rental you had listed online. Is that still available?
It is. Yep. Got a couple people looking at it, but yeah, it's currently nothing signed.
Okay, right on. Okay, well, again, my name's Carl Krenzel. I'm a broker who buys property. I was just calling to see what your long-term plans were with that property.
Oh yeah, it's a golden piece of property. So unless you have a buyer specifically that is highly motivated and willing to offer above market value, not interested.
I don't blame you, my brother. That was
happening in the area.
I know. I was looking at that house myself, and I thought, oh well, maybe he'd be interested in selling. Let me give him a ring, because that's a great piece of property you got there. All right.
No, exactly. I've had it for about 20 years.
Oh wow.
I don't intend to do anything with it, and like I said, unless there's like a serious developer that has a bigger plan, knows what the value is willing to come in with a very, very generous offer.
Yeah, you'd have to be dumb to turn it down. I hear you. Well, let me ask you: do you have any other rental properties at all, or is this the only one? Or
that's the only one. Yeah, that's the only one.
Okay, all right. Well, listen. Do you happen to know perhaps of anybody else who's got an unwanted property that I could buy for cash?
Not offhand. See, one of my friends just got rid of his last year. No, my brother and sister have a house in the area too, but they also don't. They're in the same situation.
All right.
Yeah, well, can't really help you on that right now.
No worries. Well, listen, I appreciate you taking the time to talk to me today, and you stay out of this heat today. It's going to be super hot, okay?
Yeah, you as well.
All right, brother. Have a great day.
All right.
Take care.
You too.
Yes, sir. Bye-bye. All right. Boom. There we go. Much better. Okay, now we're started. Okay. now we're back on track. Okay. All right. So when we're thinking about your smartphone, okay, now that you understand a little bit about what Pew is saying from this, okay, Pew Research. Now, when we're starting to talk about income, they've even broke it down to income. Okay. Now listen, people who make less than $30,000 a year. Okay. This is again, according to Pew Research, not me. All right. According to Pew Research, 45% of the homes people that make families or homes that are making less
has been forwarded to an automated voice messaging system.
The homes that are making $30,000 or less, right?
Hello. Please state your name after the tone, and Google Voice will try to connect you.
Carl. Okay, well, guess we're going to go ahead and drop that one. Hang up. Yeah, so, right, move on. Okay. So again.
Hello. Please state your name after
No,
the
I'm not
tone,
falling for
and
that
Google
one
Voice
again.
will try to connect you.
Oh, no, not today. All right, resume. Pew Research was saying that $30,000 or less, 45% of the families there have homes that have broadband. I should say 45% of the homes have broadband, right? So if you're making $30,000 or less, all right, you got a 45% chance that you're going to be using broadband at home for your internet.
Hello. Please state your name after the tone, and Google Voice will try to connect you.
Now, here's where this becomes important. All right, let me compare that, okay, with those who make 30,000 to 74,999, right? So if you make 30,000 to 74,999, all right, 72% of those people have broadband at home, and they use their smartphone 18% of the time with no broadband. Okay, so 30,000 and less, 45% of the time you have broadband at home. 31% of the time you're using your smartphone, right? And if you're 30,000 and just under 75, it's jumped up to 72% of the time you're using broadband at home, and you have 18% of the time you're using your smartphone. All right. Now, for those who are $75,000 and above in household income, okay, 87% of the time they use broadband at home, and 9% of the time are they using their smartphone. Not surprisingly, okay, this correlates directly with the level of education. You know, high school or less, you got about a 48% chance of using broadband at home, whereas in college, you're at 85% of the chance, and 10% of the chance of using your smartphone. Why? Well, probably a couple reasons. You know, if you are a college graduate, you know, you're making a lot of money.
Hello. Please state your name after the tone, and Google Voice will try to...
You know, having broadband at home, you know, is not going to be a cost that's going to be a problem for you, and you're probably going to use it for work.
Hi, you reached Kainoa. Sorry, I can't get to the phone right now, but if you leave his name.
So understand what this really means, okay? At the moment, people are using their laptops and broadband at home, okay, if they're in a little bit of a higher price range, or I'm sorry, a little bit of higher demographic in terms of income, right? And education level, right? But that is also changing. And the reason why I bring this up, okay, is because let me just pull this out real fast so you can see it. Well, you won't be able to see it. What you want to think about is this article that came out in Realtor.com said, is your site ready for smartphone only internet users? Okay. Now, I just read to you the results of of the Pew Research, right? And oh goodness, now here we went through all those for rent by owners 3 at a time. There we went through that real fast. Okay, so let's go back. Let's call pre-foreclosures. We have 128 leads, it says. Dial. Let's see, how many do we have here? Hang on. We have 64 that we're going to call. We had 104 with no answers. So looks like we have a total of 89 phone numbers to call, and we're going to call them 3 at a time. Press go, press dial, and boom. Okay, so now we're back at it, right?
Hello. Please state your name after the tone, and Google Voice will try to connect.
Nope, not going to do that. So Realtor.com brought up, they said, well, is your site ready for smartphone only internet users? Now, I just brought to you the information from Pew Research. Now, according to them, this is from Realtor.com.
Hi, you've reached Darlene's phone. I can't come to the phone right now, but if you leave your name and number, I'll call you right back. Thanks for calling.
Okay. Not sure who that was. So let's see here. So more U.S. adults are getting on the internet via their...
Has been forwarded to an automatic voice message system. 52036012232 is not a...
Okay. Okay, so let me just go ahead and read this article a little bit here for you while this is dialing. There we go. So more U.S. adults are getting on the internet via their smartphone, and you may want to put more focus on how your website looks on mobile devices to make sure the experience isn't a turnoff. Peggy? Okay. All right. See if we can catch her again. Okay. All right. Here we go. Let's see. 37% of U.S. adults typically tend to reach for their smartphone to access the internet, a significant increase from the 19% of adults who reported doing so in 2013, according to a new Pew Research Center survey. Hello?
Hello?
Oh, hi. This is Carl. How are you?
This is who?
My name's Carl Krenzel. Is Ronald available?
Is who available?
Ronald Stanwood available?
No.
Oh, goodness. Okay. I might have the wrong number. I was calling about that property that was for sale at 13540 East Rex Molly Road. Am I calling the right number?
Nope.
Oh, gosh. Okay. Do you happen to have a phone number for that property owner?
No idea.
Oh, I see. Okay. You don't know anything about it, huh? Okay. Well, gosh, I'm sorry. All right. Well, listen, I hope you have a great day. Since I got you here anyway, do you know anybody who's got an unwanted home that I could buy for cash? Take that as a no. All right. Boom. All right. So let's see here. Where was I? So, yeah, they were saying that 37% of the United States adults typically tend to reach for their smartphone in order to access the internet, which is a significant increase from the 19% of Americans who reported doing so in 2013. So within 5 years, okay, 37% now, 2019 versus what? 19%? Almost double. Okay, you got almost double the amount of people who are going on the internet and looking at things on the internet on their smartphone than they did on a laptop computer. Laptop computers and broadband internet access in the home is becoming less. Why do I bring this up? Okay, well, listen. There's going to come a time.
Por favor, deje su mensaje para.
There's going to come a time, okay, if in 2013, just 5 years ago, things have changed that much with regards to cell phones. I mean, think about the cell phone you had 5 years ago. Is it the same one you have now? Probably not. And think about the capabilities that the cell phone you have now, things you can do now versus the flip phone or whatever you had back in the day. So, in light of this, right? What does your internet presence look like? Are you still putting out that same tired content that you did before? Are you putting out those same boring blog posts? Are you engaging your internet crowd? Are you engaging the community? You know, when I first started out in real estate, I remember all the teachers and the trainers telling me, you know, you got to build up your center of influence. You got to build up these people who know, like, and trust you, and you got to communicate with them on a daily basis, and you got to let them know that you're in the real estate business. You know, they used to say that you need to, you know, go out and hello?
Hi, you reached AZ Professional Services and Tax and Time Tax Professionals. We're open Monday through Friday from 10 to 6.
Yeah, I don't think this is the right person. I've called them before, so delete them.
Bueno, te has comunicado con AZ Professional Services.
All right, resume. There we go. So, you know, back in the day, you were to mail to them 4 times a year, you know, reach out to them, go see them, you know, perhaps hold a party. You know, I remember agents holding big parties, inviting all their customers, their centers of influence, and people that they knew, right? And have a big get together and write it off on their taxes so they could, you know, get all their centers of influence in one place and start talking together. Isn't it true that we hardly know anybody, though? I mean, aside from our close friends and family, we probably aren't really chummy with a lot of other people. And maybe it's just me. Maybe it is just me. Okay. But it seems like a lot of people that I talk to, whether it be when I'm prospecting or in church or wherever, I mean, it's not like we all get out and know our neighbors. We live in the same homes for years. We don't get out and talk to our neighbor across the street. You know, it's very rare. Yeah, and when you do find that situation, when for example, you go to a party somewhere and they've got a cul-de-sac and well, gosh, everybody in the cul-de-sac comes out with food and wine and drinks, and everybody's having a good time in the sunset, enjoying the weather together as a community in the cul-de-sac. You know, we look at that sort of thing as, wow, that's just unique. I wish I had something like that in my community. Right, where we would all just go out on a Friday night, sit down under a tree and drink wine and talk, and as a community, as neighbors, and then maybe Saturday morning we would get up and go out by that same place and drink coffee, and maybe bring a Danish, and we'd, you know, read the papers or whatever. You know, those old time type things that happen still happen, but when they happen today, okay, it's seen as an anomaly versus reality. It's seen as an anomaly, as something that doesn't happen very often, as opposed to the way things should happen. Why do I keep bringing this up? Okay, well, if your center of influence is supposed to be like that, and you don't even know your neighbors, you don't spend time with your neighbors, you don't go out and talk to them, you don't have that environment where you're out drinking wine and in the evening and coffee and Danishes in the morning, if you don't have that environment, okay, it's difficult for you to generate business out of your center of influence. Maybe you know that 1 or 2 people in your marketplace who are exceptionally good. They were blessed, if you will, right? They had all the good friends, the right friends. Maybe they came from a really good job. Maybe they came from a sales job where they were in medical sales or prescription sales or this or that, and they had a
Fab Shop, Tony.
oh gosh, you know what? I got the wrong number altogether.
No worries.
All right, brother. Have a great day. Take care.
You too, man.
Uh-huh. Let's see. Wrong number. Boom. Maybe you didn't have that sort of situation, but you know, when you think about it, there are people around you who have. They got all the good connections, the ones with the money or whatever, right? Seem like they got all the breaks. Maybe you know somebody like that. You know, it used to, and I'll be honest with you, I'm going to tell you some of my personal fears. I mean, because I don't mind sharing my personal fears and my failures here on the podcast, because I know nobody listens to the podcast. Nobody watches this on YouTube anyway. And so the chances of anybody really finding out how I really feel about things is slim to none. But let me tell you how I feel. My fears, my fails, my foibles. I will be honest with you. For years and years, I felt inferior because of where I came from, how I grew up. I came from a tiny little farm town in Kansas, Hutchinson, Kansas. Now it's a little bit larger, but back then it's a tiny little town. I mean, nobody knew about that place except the Amish who lived just north of us. Right? They came into town to get stuff. Boom, we've called through all these pre-foreclosures. Wow, that was fast. Whoops. I ended the phone call there. All right, I didn't mean to do that. So let's go back. Let's see here. Who are we trying to dial here? Pre-foreclosures. All right, so what we're going to do now, I'm going to have a moment or two with you where I'm going to share with you my fears and a little bit of this news, and then we're going to hop back on the phone if that's okay with you, okay? So if it's all right with you, I'm just going to pontificate for a minute or two before I get right back into the prospecting. So please forgive me if you came here for the prospecting and the news. You're just going to hear the news and my feeling here for a minute, right? And then we're going to jump back into the prospecting. So as I was saying, that when I was a kid, okay, I came from a small town. Nobody knew anybody from that town. Nobody great came from that town. My parents, good parents, right? But they weren't rich or anything like that. We were sort of lower middle class. Dad lost his job and we had to move to Tucson, and that's what kind of brought me here. And and I had it very good, I think, compared to many people. I had two parents who loved me, and I had 3 square meals a day and a hot meals, and I had a bed to sleep in, and who didn't abuse me. I was very blessed in that sense, right? But nonetheless, I still developed a lot of insecurities. And whenever I would come across an environment where I would go out and I would work really hard, like I'd go sell 60, 70 homes in a year, and I'd go to these meetings or whatever. I go to these places with the Mike Ferry organization. I would go eat with some of these guys who'd make millions of dollars and sell hundreds of homes. And I was, I would always be in such awe of these people, thinking that I wasn't all, I don't know, worthy, right? I was insecure. I felt like I wasn't smart enough to hang out with those kids. I felt like I was, not, I didn't know everything. And I'd wished many times that I had the connections that people had. I wish I knew what you knew. I wish that I had the education that you had. I wish that I had the opportunity, the exposure to the people, the wherewithal, the whatever that you had to make all that money, and I don't have it. I'm lacking somehow. And I'll be honest with you, that's the way I felt for years. Horribly insecure. I'd do a lot of transactions, make a lot of money, but bless God, I would be so insecure about my production, about my intelligence, about my abilities. And that wrecked me for a very long time. It racked me for a long time, right? And I'll be honest with you, it was something, and even to this day, I still have to struggle with it sometimes. This feeling of inferiority. Like, if I just had another chance, if I just had a different opportunity, if I knew what you knew or knew who you know or whatever. We always know people in our communities or in our offices or whatever who are blessed like that. And we wish that, we had something like that. Well, the truth is, there we go. That glare was killing me. The truth is that the internet has made everything equal, right? Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, Twitter, all the things you're doing today, okay, through the smartphone, you couldn't always do. And now the fact that people are even coming from the laptop down to the smartphone makes it even more advantageous for you. The smartphone, the internet, that's the great equalizer. If you don't know something, look it up. If you're missing connections, people, it doesn't matter. You can talk to hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people. You can learn the skills you need to learn, and you can overcome the problems that you're facing. And the fact is that if you start to be aware of the information that's available to you demographically, how things are changing, then you can position yourself and your business in a way that you could be the person that people look at later and say, gosh, I wish I had that kind of foresight. Man, how did you know to do that? You can say to yourself, well, listen, I was watching the signs. Just like me, people would say to me, well, gosh, Carl, how did you get into the the REO business? I mean, how did you do that? I have people call me up about that from time to time. And I always tell them the same thing. And I'll tell you, it's not that I'm bright, right? I knew that what goes up must come down, right? I mean, that's just the way life works. It's not special knowledge. And when you pay attention, that's the key. What I was telling you yesterday, when you pay attention, you can solve a lot of the problems that you have by simply paying attention. The biggest problem we have more often than not is we don't pay enough attention to the little things. All right. That's a little rant about that. All right. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to call these for sale by owner. I'm going to call these for sale by owners, right? And let's see what happens with them. Now I'm going to have to focus a little bit here, because what I'm going to try to do here is see what we can do about setting as close as we can to a listing appointment here. I'm not going to try and set just a regular old come on out and take a look at my house kind of thing. I'm not anxious to do that. We got 20 numbers to call. So we're going to dial them now. All right, let's dial this up. Okay, so dial. Let's see. 9516. Press that. Okay, here we go.
Welcome to Storm.
Boom shakalaka. All right. Now let me focus. I don't think I want this one. Yeah, I don't want this one. This is a mobile home. Hang up. I'm not interested in that. Resume. Okay. All right, so here we go. In case you're listening in right now, it's just hello? Okay. There we go. It's trying to call this one person here who apparently picked up the phone and hung up, so we're trying to get them back on a priority call. Let's see here. Okay, well, looks like we've missed out on that dude. Okay, all right. Well, we're dialing 3 again, so calling 20 people 3 at a time shouldn't take too long at all. I'm trying to focus a little bit on these. Hi, my name's Carl Krenzel. How are you today?
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure if I have the right place. I was calling about the house was for sale by owner on Holly Stravenue.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay, no problem. Is that property still available?
Yeah, it's actually it's technically going in the market this weekend, but I just wanted to put it a little bit before time out there so that way, people can start kind of get gathering some information.
I understand. Okay, no problem. And when you say it was going to be going on the market this weekend, do you mean it was going to be going on the market with an agent this weekend or it was officially for sale by owner this weekend?
Yeah, it was going to be officially for sale by owner on Sunday.
Okay, got you. All right, no worries. Now I noticed that it says that the ownership here is, I guess, Professional Property Purchasers LLC. Is this an investment firm?
It is.
Wonderful, wonderful. Okay, well, again, my name's Carl Krenzel. I'm a broker here in town, and I also buy property. Was this a property that you guys had bought and then done some rehab to it to flip? Is that what happened?
Correct.
Okay, very cool. All right, no worries. And how much are you going to be asking for the property?
This one is 155 nine.
Okay, great. No worries. And I'm curious, do you about how many other properties do you guys buy a year?
I would say we probably because it's me and my business partner, and I guess between the both of us, I would probably say about 6 to 8 properties a year.
Okay, right on. Okay, good deal. And when you do buy these, I mean, the only reason why I'm asking is many times I mean, I come across properties that I don't want to buy myself, but I'll wholesale them out to, other investors and stuff. So do you folks typically pay cash or do you guys usually get private loans?
No, we do a little bit of both.
Okay. Okay, right on.
But yeah, we do pay cash, and then we do also have private funds.
Okay.
But we do also sometimes, from time to time, do some wholesale, do some double closing, do some transactional property.
Gotcha. Okay.
This year we've already done about 4 or 5 closings.
Well, hallelujah. Good for you. Okay. And now this particular property here, how long did you guys how long have you owned this one?
For 2 months.
Oh, wow. Okay. So you literally just bought it then.
Yeah.
Okay, good for you. All right. Well, listen, I appreciate you taking the time. What I'll do is I'll keep your name handy here, and then if I come across something that looks like it might be something sharing out to you, maybe you might be interested. I'll put it your way. How's that sound?
Yeah, that sounds like a plan, and I'll go ahead and put you in my buyers list through my system, and when I have the next property,
that sounds great.
Kind of,
we'll work together. Yeah. What's your name, brother?
My name's Christian.
Christian. Well, God bless God. I love that name already. All right, Christian. Well, listen, my name is Carl. I'm a broker here in town with Sotheby's International. I buy property here in Tucson a lot myself. And so I call people all across, all the for sale by owners, all the for rent by owners, everybody. Every day. And I'm always out here looking for properties to purchase. So if you come across something you're not into, let me know. Maybe me or my friends will be into it. And if I come across something that I'm not into, maybe you or your friends will be into it and I'll shoot your way. How's that sound?
Yeah, that sounds perfect. Thank you so much for reaching out to me.
Hey, no problem, brother. Well, that's how we make business together. We make things happen like that.
Exactly. That's a beautiful thing.
All right, my man. You have a great day, okay?
All right, Carl. God bless you.
Yep. God bless you. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Okay, so all right, resume. There we go. Boom. Okay, so here we got another priority call. Problem with calling for sale by owners 3 at a time is that many times they'll pick up the phone the first time around because, again, sale by owners are their cell phones many times. And so what'll happen is they'll pick up the phone right away, and the system will then give them a short voicemail, and then it'll put them as a priority call next for you to call them next time, right? And or the next as soon as you get done with that phone, it'll dial the next guy or next time. And so the problem then is that with a for sale by owner, you know, hello. Oh, hi there. Sorry about that. I was having trouble with my phone. My name's Carl. I was calling about that house that was for sale. Is it still available?
It's off the market, so thank you for calling.
Oh, you sold it? Okay. Well, no worries. Well, listen, do you know anybody? Okay. Don't worry about him. Resume. He wanted too much for that property anyway. All right. So a lot of times what you want to do when, if you're doing a multi-dial situation like this, and again, I would highly recommend you use the Red X, right? The Red X is the best dialer I've used. I mean, I've used Mojo, I've used Vulcan, and I'm going to tell you, I was partial. I'm not going to lie to you. I was partial to Mojo for years. I really liked Mojo. But problem with Mojo that I had was their data wasn't good enough. I liked Mojo because of their dialer. I like the fact that they dialed 3 at a time, right? And it was my fault.
This is Susie.
Hi, Susie. This is Carl Krenzel. How are you?
Fine, thank you.
I was calling about your house for sale. Is it still available?
No, it's sold on Saturday.
Oh, I believe it.
The inspection period.
Oh, well, hallelujah. Good for you. Okay, well, great. Well, listen, I'm sorry to hear for the circumstances, but I'm glad to see that you got it resolved. Do you happen to know of anybody else who's got a property that I could buy for cash?
No, I don't.
All right. Well,
Sorry.
listen, no worries. Well, listen, I hope you have a great day, and I hope your inspection goes well, okay?
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye. Now, believe it or not, there once was a time when somebody would tell me something like that as a for sale by owner, I would kind of put it in a little file, right? and if they were pending as a for sale by owner, I would keep them in a special little file because I knew, right, more often than not, that they'd fail in the inspection period. And when they did, then I would just call them. So in a typical situation like that, where let's say that they say, well, gosh, we're in the inspection period, I'd be, oh, okay, great. No problem. Maybe ask them a question.
Hello.
Hi, Steve.
Yeah.
Oh, hi, Steve. Carl Krenzel. How are you today?
How can I help you?
Yes, sir. I was calling about the house you had for sale. Is it still available?
Yes, sir.
Outstanding. Okay. Well, listen, I'm a broker here in town who buys property. I was just calling to see how I could help you with this property.
Is there any way you can give me a call back maybe about an hour or two? Because I'm right in the middle of something.
Yeah, that's no worries. Same number?
Yes, sir.
Okay. No problem. We'll do. Talk to you soon. Coincidentally, this is also another good reason to use this dialer because you have the callback facility in here. So it's just a simple number, simple button you press. When do you want to call in back? We're calling back in about an hour or so. So that makes it about 10, just say 10:20. Boom. Okay. High priority. Call back about for sale by owner. Oh, okay. Now, cool thing about this, as I was saying, I liked the Mojo dialer, but the data wasn't that good. And it was my impression at the time that the Red X, as much as I like their data and the system that they had, it was my impression that the Storm dialer that they had only had a 1 dialer capacity. And for me, that's a deal breaker. If you're dialing one line at a time, gosh, you're going to be here forever, right? You need to have something that will dial 3 lines at a time. And that's why when I found out that Storm dialer, the one that the Red X uses, the Red X produces, actually has a 3-line dialer. Oh, well, guess what? I'm on board. I'm all about it because now, okay, you got all the data, which is awesome. Okay, the data is super good. Not to mention you get pre-foreclosure data. Oh, boom. We're done with all those for sale by owners now. Okay. Let's see. Who do we need to call now? Whoops. Drop the phone. All right. So we called all the expireds, all the for sale by owners, all the for rent by owners. Now that's something Mojo didn't have. Mojo didn't have for rent by owners. And that drove me nuts, right? The pre-foreclosures. I don't recall Mojo having pre-foreclosures, right? They had for sale by owners, they had expireds, canceled, but I don't recall them having pre-foreclosures, right? And they also had like this, I don't even remember what they call it in Mojo, but in the Red X, they call it the geo leads. And the geo leads is what we're going to jump into right now, because we've already called all the for rent by owners, all the for sale by owners, all the canceleds, all the expireds. Yeah. So we've called through, and yeah, I think we said the pre-foreclosures. Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, all the typical suspects, we've called through all of them. Okay. And we've taken 3 lines at a time to call through these people. We've been unable to set an appointment. Now, if you're a realtor and an investor in this situation, it's 9:17 in the morning, you haven't been prospecting for very long, and bless God, you don't have an appointment. You don't have any leads that you found. You know, if you're following along like we've talked about, then you got to remember the 6th step to success, if you will, right, is to start every day at 0. So you got to think about from the perspective, if you will, you know what? I don't have any leads. I don't have any sales. I don't have anything, right? I don't have nothing. Well, in this case, it's true. We don't have any leads from today. We don't have any prospects from today. We don't have any appointments set. So what do we got to do? We got to dial even more, right? Because if you didn't have somebody else to call, okay, you're going to be out there knocking on doors. It's going to be 105 degrees here pretty soon. Or you're going to be holding an open house, in which case you're going to meet 4 people. Okay. You're going to be putting out all these signs. You're going to sit for 4 hours. You're not going to find anybody. You might as well get out there, get active, and try to find somebody to buy or sell. And that's what we're fixing to do. So while this thing's on hold for a moment, okay, I'm going to jump into another story very briefly for you. It says new home sales sank 7.8% in May, despite a big drop in the mortgage rates. Now, this is coming to us from CNBC. So I take it with a little bit of grain of salt, obviously, because they got a little bit of a slant, if you know what I mean. But Diana Olick over there at CNBC says there's really 3 key points to take away from this article. First, sales of newly built homes fell 7.8% in May from April, and there were 3.7% lower than in May, according to the U.S. Census. Okay. Now, what this number represents is signed contracts, not closings. We're talking about pendings, not closed. So when you start talking about pendings being down in the new home, in the new home sales ratio, right? That's not good, right? The average rate on a popular 30-year fixed mortgage started May at 4.29, according to Mortgage News Daily, and then ended the month at 3.94. Okay, a sizable savings on a monthly payment, especially given in a higher income price. Third thing that you want to take away from this is that the lower mortgage rates have not unleashed a new wave of demand. Okay, those 3 things you really want to, I'm going to read some more of this so you kind of get some context. Okay, but the takeaways you want to start listening for here as we start talking. First, sales of new homes went down 7.8% in May. Okay, and that's pending contracts. So the amount of people who are going out and writing contracts and saying, yeah, I want to buy a new home, gone down 7.8% in May from April. May, 7.8% went down, right? That's the first thing. Second thing you want to learn, okay, take away from this article, is that the interest rate, 4.29, went down to 3.94. Okay. That's a pretty good chunk on your interest rate that went down. Third thing you want to take away, that mortgage drop, or that lower mortgage rate, if you will, okay, they thought would, spur up some demand. People will say, oh gosh, the interest rates are low. We can buy a bigger house for more money or less money now. Well, guess what? Didn't really work out the way they thought it was going to. What does this mean in light of all the other things that we've been watching? You've been following along on this podcast, following along on the Sell More Homes Now on YouTube. You've been hearing me talk about what Zillow's been saying for 33 out of the 35 markets. I don't have to say it anymore. You should be able to repeat it right along with me. right? Realtor, the National Association of Realtors, year-over-year growth for the last 7 years, then went down for the first quarter, right? Now let's read the article. Home buyers pulled away from builders in May, even as affordability improved thanks to lower mortgage rates. Sales of newly built homes fell 7.8% from April. They were 3.7% lower than in May, according to the U.S. Census. This number represents signed contracts not closing, so it's a very recent indicator of buyers out shopping during the month. Okay, so you got people right now in the marketplace. That's what they're buying, and they're kind of turning away from new homes. Okay, it says the decline in sales came even as home shoppers were watching the mortgage rates fall. All right. The lower mortgage rates have not unleashed a new wave of demand, says Buck Horn, a home building analyst and senior vice president at Raymond James. Horn pointed to rising competition from the increasing supply of existing homes for sale, especially in the markets where builders are most active. Supply of existing homes for sale is up a striking 85% in Las Vegas annually, 52% in Seattle, and 21% in Dallas, according to Horn. Supply in Southern California is also up in double digits. He says, quote, it's harder for the builders to compete against resale inventory that is priced significantly below where their asking price is now. Okay. He says the median price of a newly built home sold in May was $308,000, down 2.7% annually. Wait a minute. Hold up. Stop the presses. Time out. Wait a minute. Okay. Just a few minutes ago. All right. Here we were just literally seconds ago talking about how the prices have started to kind of tip in the first quarter, according to Realtor.com. According to Zillow, 33 of the 35 markets have gone down. And now you got this guy saying, guess what? The median price of a newly built home sold in May was $308,000, which is down 2.7% annually. All these people are talking about how great the economy is and how wonderful things are, and I agree. But what are you seeing on the ground? What are you seeing in reality? What is really going on in the marketplace? Well, builders, it says, are not necessarily lowering their base prices, but they are offering more incentives. All right. The drop in median price is likely due to a shift in the mix of homes that are selling. All right. That's why the median can kind of be tricky because you never really know. But the share of homes sold in the $200,000 to $299,000 increased in May, and more buyers on the lower end could shift that lower median down. Right. So if you've got a lot of upper end property, $600,000, $700,000, $800,000, and it's not selling, you got a bunch of $200,000 to $300,000 property that is selling. Well, that's going to pull your median down. Right. So what's happening is this indicates that the builders are starting to respond to these entry-level buyers. That's what's really going on. Okay. So what you're starting to see in May is really more than likely attributed to recent events, concerns about tariffs and other events that could slow global economic growth. That's what Danielle Hale, the chief economist for Realtor.com, says. Well, I don't know about that. It always seems to me like Realtor.com and the economists and everybody that they have over there have all these fantastic reasons about why things are happening on a global scale as to why that's stopping the sales locally. Could it be maybe that there is a oversupply of homes that are for sale, and then when you've got properties that are on the market pooling, competing with builders? How many times have you as a realtor been in that situation where you've been with somebody and you told them, hey, you're competing with a home builder, you need to drop your price. Yeah, your builder can go ahead and complete that property and make it look beautiful and have a brand new property, but it's going to be a little bit more, and it's going to take a few months to get. Or you could sell your property now a little bit cheaper perhaps, and they could have it now. And that's the problem that they're having, right? So the nation's largest home builder by revenue, Lennar, reported second quarter earnings on Tuesday morning and showed a slight drop in the average selling price. New orders were flat despite the drop in rates. Okay. Lennar, their second quarter earnings dropped. Their new orders flat. Even though the interest rates have dropped, they're not selling any more homes than they were in the first quarter. Right? But he says, okay, the executive chairman, expressed optimism. Well, of course he should. That's what they all do. That's what you're paid to do. If you were the executive chairman of a company and you came out and said, yep, the sky's falling, well, they'd fire you that day. He said it's a well-documented market pause in the second half of 2018 set the stage for more moderate home price increases and lower interest rates, which stimulated both affordability and demand, leading home buyers back to the market. That's what said Stuart Miller. Yeah, Stuart Miller said that. Okay. How do you explain this, Stuart? The available supply of newly built homes rose markedly in May to 6.4 months worth at the current sales pace. Do you know what that means in realtor speak? Your absorption rate for brand new homes is 6.4%. If you didn't build another home in the United States at all, not a single one, you stopped every home building, you stop right now. Okay, fire everybody. Tell the concrete pourer to stop pouring the concrete. Tell the plumber to stop plumbing, the electrician to stop doing the electricity. You fire every single person on there and you just sell the existing inventory you have. Guess what? It's going to take you over 6.5 months to sell every single one you have. Every one. 6 months. Now, let me ask you a question, guys, gals. YouTube land, Sell More Homes, and the redpillinvestor.com folks. Tell me, if your marketplace suddenly had 6 months worth of inventory on the market, how would you feel? Would you feel as though that was good? That was okay? Tell you what I would feel. That is a normal market. Yeah, that's why you take a 6-month listing, because things take 6 months to sell sometimes. He said, okay, that in contrast, the supply of existing homes for sale was at 4.3 months at the end of May. Look, when we're talking about absorption rate, nationwide absorption rate, how long does it take to sell every freaking home we've got on the planet, in the country right now, if there was no other homes put on the market and no other homes built? If the existing homes across the United States, the average is 4.3 months at the end of May. That's for existing homes. Hello, your listing's not selling. Are you finding that the flips you're putting on the market are taking a few extra months to sell? Hello. Welcome to the podcast, right? It's taken 4.3 months on average for existing homes to sell. Okay. You take brand new homes, their average is 6.4 months. Why? Because new homes come at a price premium for existing homes. And today's buyers, especially these younger millennials, are finding it real hard to afford new construction. I mean, think about that new family. Look, you've had a client like that yourself in the last 2 weeks, I guarantee. Right? That young millennial wants to buy that new home. Oh my gosh, all the bells and whistles. It looks so pretty. I just love it. Tiny little postage stamp lot. You're like, oh my gosh, I don't believe you want to live here, right? And they want to live there, but they can't afford it. So what do? They go buy a rehab that's been really done, right? And make the best. New home sales sink 7.8% in May. That is news you need to know. If you didn't know it, well, now you do. All right, let's get back into the dialing. We took a minute to go ahead and go over that story, a little bit of commentary. So let's go ahead and jump back into the dialing. The thing went ahead and went out on me. So we're going to go ahead and press dial again. This time we're calling through Oh, goodness. Where am I calling this time? I don't even remember. Oh, yeah. We're calling through an area that we just sold a property in, right? So, what we're going to do right now, we're calling 97 homes. There's 171 phone numbers. So, what I've told the computer to do is pull up properties that are older, that have been owned for longer than 5 years that are within this particular neighborhood of where we sold a home. Okay.
Welcome to Storm.
So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to call these people up because essentially what you want to do, regardless if you're a realtor, wholesaler, whatever your position is in the real estate game, you want to make sure that you take the time to call people who are just around the areas that you've listed or sold or your company is listed or sold. Because what you're going to find more often than not is people will say, well, gosh, if they got that for that, well, then I could get X for mine. Right. I mean, that's what they tend to say. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and we're going to talk about a property that we recently sold. I held this property open for this agent not too long ago. Right. So I'm pretty familiar with the property. I know the neighborhood. I know where it's at. I know the particulars about the house. And so we're going to go ahead and make a few calls and see what we can do about finding some of these ready, willing, and able sellers. Because as you know, if one person saw that sign, they probably had it in their heart that they wanted to sell or at least would be interested. All right. So now let's go ahead and call these people up. All right. Open back the right window. And here we go. Dial. Okay. So we're dialing again. Turn the phone up a little bit. All right. So the third story we're going to go through while we are waiting for people to pick up on this phone. Just set my notes right there so I won't forget. There we go. Third story is investors are buying more of the U.S. housing market than ever before. And their interest poses a challenge for millennials and other first-time homebuyers. Now, this is an article dated June 27th.
Hello?
Hi, this is Carl Krenzel. How are you today?
Good.
I'm not sure if I have the right place. I was calling for the owners of a property on San Sebastian Drive. Have I got the right place?
No.
Oh gosh. Okay. I was looking for the Ware residence. Do you know anything about the Ware residence or 3601 San Sebastian Drive? Do you know anything about that, or am I just way off base?
No, I don't know anything about that address.
Oh gosh. Okay. I'm sorry. I guess I got the totally wrong number then. All right. Well, listen, I hope you have a great day anyway. Okay.
Yes, sir.
All right. Take care. Bye-bye. Right. Sounded like a kid to me. I wasn't really anxious to call him or start really prospecting to him because he sounded like a kid to me. It says that investors are buying more of U.S.
Hello?
Hi, this is Carl Krenzel. How are you today?
Good. Who are you asking for?
Yes, ma'am. I'm not sure if I have the right place. I was looking for the Lectors residence. They own some property over there in Cayagua Verde. Have I got the right place?
Yes.
Perfect. Yes. Perfect. Okay. Well, I got some great news for you. My name is Carl Krenzel. I'm a broker over here at Sotheby's International Realty. As you may or may not know, we recently had a property that was for sale over there at 3640 North Cayagua Verde. I'm not sure if you were driving.
That's the other side of the river.
Yeah, that's the one. Yeah, I wasn't sure if you were driving around the area. Well, we had that property on the market. We sold it in 16 days. It was a 2,300 square foot place with 3 bedrooms and 3 baths and a 2-car garage. And we've got a lot of folks who are still wanting to live in the area. So we're kind of reaching out to the neighbors. Do you know of anybody in that area who might be open to selling their property right now?
Not that I know. What did you sell that 3640 for?
Yes, ma'am. 425,000. I apologize. I thought I mentioned that. No, it was 425,000. Yeah, we were asking 420. Go ahead.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I was just saying we were asking 429 for it, and we sold it in just over 2 weeks. And because of that, obviously, I mean the market that we're in right now, if we have a property on the market, if it's any good, it sells relatively quickly. And unfortunately, we have a lot of folks who are still wanting to live in the area, but we'll have one happy seller and two crying buyers. You know what I mean? That's the way it works.
Yeah. No, we're at this time we're not interested at this point now.
No problem. Do you happen to know of anybody else in the area that I should talk to who might be interested in an all cash offer on an unwanted home?
No, not in that area. I don't. I'm sorry.
No worries at all. All right. Well, listen, I appreciate you taking my call, and I hope you have a wonderful day. Okay.
You too.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Bye now.
Okay. Resume. All right. You got to ask yourself, how many people would you be willing to call?
Hello?
Hi. Sorry about that. I was having a little trouble with my phone. My name's Carl. How are you today?
What's this about?
Well, I was calling. I'm not sure if I have the right person, so I apologize in advance. Are you the fellow who owns that property at 3591 Cayagua Verde?
What is this about?
Well, I got some good news for you. We actually sold the property down the street from you at 3649 North Cayagua Verde. My name's Carl. I was with Sotheby's International Realty. You might have seen that property if you were driving around the area. We sold it for $425. John? That's totally my fault. All right, no problem. Put him as not interested. Resume. All right. Yeah. How many people would you talk to? That's a good question. How many people would you talk to if I gave?
Hello.
Oh, hi there. This is Carl. How are you today?
Carl with.
Oh, yes, ma'am. I'm sorry. My name's Carl Krenzel. I might owe you an apology. Are you the lady who owns that home on San Sebastian Drive?
Is this a solicitation?
Oh, no, ma'am. No, actually, I was going to give you some good news. My name again. No, it's all right. Resume. How many calls? So let's see. Let's just play a game. $425,000. Okay, that's what this property sold for. Let's take a look at the comps. Let's see the cooperative fee on there was 3%. Okay, that was the co-op fee. So $425,000 times 3%. Let's see. How much is that? 425 carry the 2 minus the 3. That's a lot of money. I don't know how you calculate it, but that's a lot of money. $425,000 times 3%. All right, that was how much. Hello? Hello? Elizabeth?
No.
Oh, gosh. Okay. I might have the wrong number. I was looking for the Sparks residence on San Sebastian. Have I got the right place?
Nope.
Oh my gosh. Do you know anything about the Sparkses or the house on San Sebastian? Do you know anything about that? Or am I just like way off?
Why?
Yeah, no problem. Well, the only reason why I was asking was because I'm a broker over here at Sotheby's International Realty. We sold a property around the corner from them at 3640 Cayagua Verde. Super happy seller because we sold his place in 16 days, but I got a couple crying buyers because they want a house in that area. And I was just calling to see if maybe she considered selling it. Do you know if they've considered selling that property?
Not a chance.
Yeah, I don't blame them. That's a great little neighborhood in there. No worries. Well, listen, do you know of anybody else in that area who I ought to talk to who might be open to that idea?
Oh, geez, there's a couple up the road that you might want to try.
Okay.
I'm not too sure.
All right, no worries. Well, listen, I appreciate you taking the time, and I hope you have a great day anyway, okay?
All right, thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye. All right, boom. So let's see. Hi, my name's Carl Krenzel. How are you?
What are you calling about?
Well, I'm not sure if I have the right place, so I owe you an apology in advance. I was looking for the owners of that property on Cayagua Verde at 5919, the showered.
Yeah.
Is that
Yes,
your?
yes, yes.
Oh, perfect. Okay, well, I got some great news for you. My name's Carl Krenzel. I'm a broker over here at Sotheby's International Realty. We just sold the property
Yeah, I
down.
don't want to sell.
I know you don't. I wasn't calling about that. I was just telling you. Boy, I'll tell you. You can't get frustrated. You just can't get frustrated because people, they get harassed all day long. They get, harassed. And if you kind of approach this with the idea that you're trying to sell them something, it's not going to work out too well. But what I think your best mindset is to be.
Hello?
Hi, Marvin.
He's not here.
Oh, okay. No worries. Well, listen, my name's.
Calling?
Yeah, no problem. My name's Carl Krenzel. I was just giving y'all a quick call. Do you folks still own that property over there on River Road?
Hello?
Yes, sir. Do you folks still own that property on River Road?
No.
Oh, okay.
Yes. Yes.
Oh, okay. Well, my name is Carl, and I'm calling because I've got some good news for you. I'm from Sotheby's International Realty.
No, Carl, I can't hear you.
Okay. How's that? Is that better? Can you hear me now?
Better.
Okay, great. Well, my name's Carl. We just sold a property not far from you on Cayagua Verde in 16 days for $425,000. But we've got a couple of people who want to live in the area. Do you know anybody who's interested in selling their home?
I'm getting ready to sell it, so I wouldn't be interested. Thank you.
You're getting ready to sell it? Okay, we're going to call him again. Hang on a second. We're going to redial this dude. Let's see, hang on. Yeah, we're redialing this dude. Hi, Marvin. I misunderstood you. Did you say you were going to sell the house?
I give it to my daughter. She's going to sell it when she's ready to move.
Oh, okay. I misunderstood you. Okay. All right. Well, listen, no problem. Do you know anybody else in that? No problem. Do you know anybody else who's got a house? All right. No problem. Boom. All right. So what we're going to do, mark that as not interested, obviously. Yeah. So don't be afraid to call people back if they hang up on you or something like that. Oh, gosh. I thought we just got disconnected. Right. Yeah. So 425,000 times 3%. That's a lot of money, right? $12,000 or something like that. That was, I don't know, 12, 13,000, whatever that was paid in commission on this deal that we're calling about right now. Okay. Some buyer's agent right now is $12,000 richer minus her split or whatever it is with the company that she worked at. Hi, Mr. Kamel.
Yeah.
Oh, hi. This is Carl Krenzel. How are you today?
Fine, thank you. This is who?
My name is Carl Krenzel. How are you today?
Fine, thank you.
The reason why I'm calling is we just sold a property not far from yours over there at 3640 North Cayagua Verde. It was a 2,300 square foot place with 3 bedrooms and 3 baths. We sold it in 16 days for $425,000. We got one super happy seller, but a couple crying buyers because they missed out on the deal. Do you know anybody in that neighborhood who might be considering selling their property?
Not that I know of. I have not a great contact with my neighbors.
No, okay. Have you considered?
I don't know if they have any plans.
No problem. Have you considered selling your property on Cayagua Verde?
Not at this point, no.
Yeah, I don't blame you. That's a great looking property. How long have you lived there?
Oh, since 66 or so.
Oh my goodness, 66. You've seen a lot of changes then, huh?
Oh, yeah.
Holy cow. Oh, yeah. Where'd you move from? Yeah. Were you here in town when you moved back there?
Sorry?
Were you here in town? I mean, in 66, there probably wasn't much out there right then at that point, right?
Yeah, that's right. Things changed since then.
How did you end up in that neighborhood? Were you?
I think it belongs to a gentleman with an Italian last name.
Uh-huh.
Right next door to me, and but there weren't too many houses around.
Oh my goodness. Were you here in town when you moved out there, or did you come from someplace else?
No, I've been living here since 66 or so.
Oh my goodness. Wow. Okay. Well, if you were to move, where do you think you'd go next?
I don't know. I think I'm happy here.
I hear you there. I hear you. All right. Well, listen, I appreciate you taking the time to talk to me, Mr. Kamel. You have a wonderful day. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. All right. $12,000 to one agent minus their split. How many calls would you take? How many calls would you make to find the seller? Right? Because
I'm on the other line. I'm sorry I missed your call. I will call you back shortly.
chances are, I don't know what the listing agent listed the property for, but I mean, if they're offering out 3%, well, then traditionally it's half of whatever they're making. So he's probably making 3% as well. As a listing agent, you're making $12,000 to help expose this property to the buyers and then negotiate the transaction to the close. That's what your job is.
Hello.
Hi, this is Carl Krenzel. How are you?
Good, thank you.
I'm not sure if I have the right person. I apologize. Is this the Manriquez residence over there on Rio Verde Vista?
Yes, it is.
Oh, perfect. Okay. Well, I got some good news for you. My name is Carl Krenzel. I'm with Sotheby's International. We had just sold a property not far from you over there at 3640 North Calle Agua Verde. It was a 2,300 square foot place. We sold it in 16 days for $425,000. I was just calling to see if you happen to think about selling your property at all. Have you?
No.
Yeah.
Not gonna sell.
I don't blame you. That's a great looking property right there. Yeah. The only reason why I'm asking is we got obviously a super happy seller, but we've got a couple crying buyers because they missed out. Do you know of anybody else in that neighborhood that would be interested in selling their property or be open to just a quick sale, kind of off the market sort of thing?
No, not really. No.
Okay. No problem. And can you think of anybody here in town who's got an unwanted home that I could buy for cash?
Well, I can't, but I have a very good friend, realtor, that I would go through if I did.
Oh, well, that's fine with me. But I mean, I don't care about your realtor. Do you know anybody who's got a house I could buy? That's my thing.
I have a very good friend who I would give that to.
He would buy it? I'm talking about me buying it. Yeah, that's what I thought. See, the problem with people, okay, look, I'm not trying to be critical here, okay? But the fundamental problem that I found with people when you're talking on the phone is that they have a set of preconceived notions. Okay? And you have to be exceptionally careful in the way you prospect to people so that they can hear and understand exactly what it is you're trying to say. Oh gosh. Sorry about that, guys. Sorry about that. So there's a set amount of preconceived notions that people have in their head about the way things are. Okay. And you have to be exceptionally careful about the way you say things so that you can make sure they hear you clearly, so they understand where you're coming from. And
Por favor, deje su mensaje para.
And many times, they're not necessarily hearing what you're saying because of their own preconceived notions, their own preconceived thoughts. So when I said, well,
Please leave your message for.
do you know anybody who's got an unwanted home I could buy for cash? Well, I don't. But if I did, I would tell my realtor. Okay, great. I'm okay with you telling your realtor. Tell your realtor. Tell your mom. Tell Jesus. Tell anybody you want to. I'm okay with that. But do you know anybody who'd be interested in selling it to me directly? Well, if I did, I would give it to my realtor. You see, the disconnect is he thinks I'm talking about listing property. And that's my fault because I'm not clearly expressing I'm looking to buy in that particular moment, right? So if you're not gonna, if they're not hearing you, okay, if they're not hearing what you're saying, like this fellow was just saying, try saying it in a different way or the same thing again, right? Because many times what you'll discover is you just got to kind of break through somebody's preconceived notions in their head about what they think is going on, and they're like, oh, okay. Now in his case, when you confronted him with it, well, no, I'm actually looking to buy. Do you know anybody who'd be willing to buy? Well, he just hangs up. Oh, okay, that's fine. It's just that's no big deal. I'd probably hang up on me faster than.
Brooks Associates, this is Lisa. Can I help you?
Oh my gosh! You know what? I got the wrong number. I apologize.
Oh, no problem.
Sorry. Have a great day. Take care. Bye bye. All right. There we go. Resume. There we go. Yeah, I wouldn't talk to me either. I mean, to be quite honest with you. I mean, I am probably one of the worst people to try and telemarket to because I keep my phone on, do not disturb most of the time. I screen most of my calls. And if you call me, you need to get my attention pretty quickly because otherwise, if you're trying to sell me something, I'll be like, oh, okay, you're from the, and you're with the, oh, okay. And I'll hang up. I mean, that's typically what I do. I don't even give somebody 10 seconds on the phone. Right. I mean, you really got to be compelling to get me to listen. Right. And that's the way you want to think about it. Hello.
Hello.
Oh, hi. My name's Carl. How are you? Hello, Ms. Dharmer? Hello? See, that's the other problem right there. I sound too good. It's too much like a recording. People hang up on me super quick. So, investors are buying more of the U.S. housing market more than ever before. This is from the Wall Street Journal. This is written to us by Laura Casisto. Said that the share of investor purchases of U.S. homes has climbed to an all-time high, a sign that rising home prices have done little to dampen the demand for flipping homes or turning them into single-family rentals.
Realty, can I help you?
Boy, you know what? I think I got the wrong number altogether. I apologize.
Okay.
Have a great day. That was a out-of-state number realty company. That's not what I want. Okay. Says that see here. There we go. Says that hi, this is Carl Krenzel. How are you?
I'm okay. Who's this?
My name is Carl Krenzel. I'm not sure if I have the right person, so I apologize in advance. I was actually looking for the owners of the Espiches. The Espiches over there on Vista de la Cima. Is that your property, sir?
Which property is that, sir?
Oh, yes, sir. 3913 North Vista de la Cima. Is that your home, sir?
Yes.
Oh, perfect. Okay, well, I got some good news for you. Don't worry, it's not a sales call. My name's Carl Krenzel. I'm a broker over here at Sotheby's International Real Estate. I was reaching out to you today because we sold your neighbor's property over there at 3640 North Cayagua Verde. It was a little bit, well, a lot smaller than your place. It was 2,300 square foot place with only 3 bedrooms and 3 baths. We sold it in 16 days for $425,000. Seller is super happy, obviously, because he's sold. But we've got a couple of people who are kind of crying because they missed out. So we're reaching out to the neighbors. Do you know of anybody in that neighborhood who might be open to just a quick sale, something off the market, maybe under the radar? Do you know anybody who'd be interested in that?
No, I know a person who has a lot for sale if they want to build their own home.
Oh, really? Okay. All right. About how much are they trying to get for that lot, you think?
Well, it's on the tax record is worth $120,000. Actually, it's my lot.
Oh, okay. All right. Gotcha. All right.
Right beside my house.
Oh, no kidding. Interesting. Okay.
It's 3919 Vista de la Cima.
Okay. All right. Well, that's good to know.
So anyway, we probably well, like I said, it's probably appraised at $120,000. Probably around the 80 something maybe.
Okay.
I guess we'd listen to an offer, I suppose.
What about how big of a?
Lot. It's got all the utilities to it. It's sloped, but as are all the lots in this subdivision.
About how big of how big is the lot? About how big is the lot?
It's a commercial acre.
Oh, okay. All right. Okay.
It's
Good deal.
3,800 square feet.
Okay. Good deal.
And like I said, it's you got to build a house to suit the lot, which
Of course.
which is the case with all the lots in this subdivision. So, but it wouldn't be a hard lot to build on by any means. You know, to have a driveway that slopes down to the back of the lot to build the house on it. So, but you can look at it on Zillow. You can see it. So.
Yes, sir. Okay. Well, I'll certainly, I'll certainly do that. Do you happen to know
the
if
house at 3913 isn't for sale?
No problem. Do you?
And I don't know of any other ones.
Okay.
Anybody I know
All right.
for sale. So.
Well, fair enough. Well, Mr.
But
Espich,
anyway.
I appreciate you taking the time to talk with me today, and I will.
See if you sell the lot.
I will take a look. Thank you.
Okay.
Have a wonderful day. Bye bye.
Okay. Bye.
Okay. All right. Now that's, I'll be honest with you, is probably not something that I would really be interested in because I've dealt with a lot of land, and land here in Tucson is not hard to find. There's just an awful lot of land for sale. However, it is something that somebody said that he is interested in selling. So vacant land next to his interested in potentially selling. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to keep that. All right. We're going to mark it down as an interested kind of lead. And the reason why is because you want to be aware, right? You want to be aware of things like this, because when things like this happen, you never really know how it's going to play out, right?
Hello, you reached Judy Slade. I am unavailable right now. I will call you back as soon as possible. Please leave a message.
So it's highly unlikely that I'll do anything with it, but let's see here. I'm trying to close my notes section here. Resume. There we go.
A number that does not accept solicitations. If you are a solicitor, please add this number to your do not call list and hang up now. Otherwise, please press 1 or stay on the line.
Okay, hang on. I get my thing back together here. There we go. Resume. Okay, so I have my script open, my notes open, and everything was open at the same time on my computer here. It was very difficult for me to get it all sorted out. Had to sort it out there for a minute. It took me a minute. Yeah. So yeah, you want to, when people tell you stuff like this, hey, I got this lot, that I would be interested in selling or whatever, you want to take note of that, because it's this kind of stuff right here that makes you valuable. Because people all the time want to know about secret inventory. Hello?
Hello.
Oh, hi. This is Carl. How are you? Is this Alex? Yeah, is this Alex?
Yes.
Oh, hi, Alex. My name's Carl. I was calling about your property on Vista de la Cima. Do you still happen to own that?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, cool. I got some great news for you. Again, my name's Carl. I'm a broker over here at Sotheby's International Realty. We just sold a property down the way from you over there at 3640 Calle Agua Verde. It was a 2,300 square foot place. We sold it in 16 days for $425,000. So the seller obviously is super happy, but we got a couple buyers in the area wanting to buy. They're unhappy because they missed out. Do you happen to know of anybody in that area who's got an unwanted home that they'd be interested in selling?
No, not at all. All I have is a lot there. So.
Oh, you do? Oh, okay. All right. Yeah. Hey, real quick, this is sort of unrelated, but do you happen to be related in any way to Wendy Carajolios?
Oh, yeah. She's my wife.
Is that a fact? Well, God bless your heart. Well, interesting. I know her, and
oh, really?
Yeah. I'm trying to remember. Was she? Is she still an agent?
Oh, yeah, she is. Yeah, she's with Omni right now.
Omni? Okay, I want to say I met her, and I might be wrong, but I want to say I met her back when I was at Long. Didn't she used to be at Long?
Oh yeah, way back.
Yeah, that's when I met her. Yeah.
Executives and
Okay. Yeah. 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 Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I thought that was kind of like my name's Krenzel, and there's just not too many Krenzels around. I figured Karahalios. I figured it certainly you probably know her in some way. So, all right, well, cool. Well, listen, hey, I appreciate you taking the time to take my call today, and you have a great day. Okay.
Yeah, you too. All right.
Thanks, brother. Bye-bye. All right. Now, listen, this is a really good example of when you do this every day, okay, you're going to come across certain people, certain situations, certain things. So, for example, now I know he
Call has been forwarded to an automated voice messaging system.
Alex,
5 2
I know
0.
now, anyway, is married to Wendy. Wendy is a real estate agent here in town. She's a great agent. I know her well. She's a good person, does good business, right? So now it's these situations where, you're going to talk to somebody and they're going to be like,
hello.
Oh, hi there. This is Carl Krenzel. How are you today?
Okay.
I'm not sure if I have the right place. I was calling for the Foltzes. They own some property over there on Country Club Vista. Is that your property?
Yep.
Oh, perfect.
Yep.
Oh, perfect. Okay. Well, I got some great news for you. I'm a broker over here at Sotheby's International Realty. We just sold a property not far from you over there at 36.
Do you have $2 million?
Well, I have one, and I'm not interested in buying your home. I was just trying to give you some good information. Does it cost me $2 million to give you good information?
Go drop dead.
I would love to, because then I'd be with the Lord. Would you be with me? I'll take that as a not interested. All right. Well, guys, I was praying that I would go, but as it is, I'm still here. Hello?
This is Walter Ramsley. Please leave a message.
I mean, you would think, honestly, that people would have something more creative to say than go drop dead. Because if Sandra? Oh, Don?
Hello?
Oh, hi, Don?
Yes.
Oh, hi, Don. Carl Krenzel. How are you today?
Good.
You don't know me, and I might have the wrong place, so I apologize in advance. Do you and Sandra still own that property over there on Rio Verde Vista?
Yes.
Oh, perfect. Okay, well, I got some great news for you. I'm a broker over here at Sotheby's International Realty. We just sold a property down the way from you over there at 3640 North Calle Agua Verde. It was a 2,300 square foot place. We sold it in 16 days for $425,000. Obviously the homeowner's super happy because it's sold, but we've got a couple buyers crying in their beer because they missed out. Do you happen to know of anybody in that area who might be open to selling their property?
No, I sure don't.
Yeah, I don't blame you. That's a great little neighborhood in there. Everybody's been telling me no today.
Right.
Okay, no problem. Yeah. Have you considered selling your property at all?
No, definitely not.
Yeah, I don't blame you. Like I said, if it was me, you'd have to drag me out of their feet first. I hear you. About how long have you guys lived there?
34 years.
Holy cow, 34 years. Oh my goodness. I bet you've seen all kinds of changes, huh?
Oh yeah.
Oh my goodness. Where'd you move from? Were you here in town?
Yeah.
Oh, no kidding. What part of town? Because like 34 years ago, there was like virtually nothing, virtually nothing there.
Southeast side.
Oh, no kidding. Oh, that's kind of where I grew up from. I went to Santa Rita myself. All right, well, good deal. Well, if you were to move, Mr. Collins, when do you think that would be?
Oh, probably when I die.
Well, let's hope that's a good long time away. All right?
Yeah.
You have a great day, okay? Stay out of that heat.
You too.
Take care. Bye-bye. Now, that right there is an example of just using the Mike Ferry just listed script, right? With the exception, well, I wouldn't say that. That's probably not true. It's kind of a mixture because the Mike Ferry script doesn't say the homeowner is happy and we got people crying in their beer, right? That's a line that I picked up. Hello?
Hello?
Oh, hi. This is Carl. How are you?
I'm afraid you have the wrong number.
It sounds like I might. I might. Is this the Yee residence over there on Red Cardinal Place? Still here. All right. Anyway. Boom. There we go. So.
Hi, it's Jules. I am not available at the moment.
Yep, that's clear. Resume. Says that.
Hello.
Hi, this is Carl Krenzel. How are you today?
Good.
I'm not sure if I have the right person. I was looking for the Adams residence over there on Country Club Vista. Is that you?
It is.
Oh, perfect. Okay, well, my name is Carl Krenzel. I got some great news for you. It's not a sales call. Again, my name's Carl. I'm a broker over here at Sotheby's International Realty. I'm calling because we just sold a property of your neighbors down the street from you over there at 3640 North Kai, Agua Verde. Their property was a 2,300 square foot place. We sold it in 16 days for $425,000. Seller is super happy, but we got some buyers.
That isn't in our HOA.
Oh, no, ma'am, I know. It's just down the way from you, actually. And the reason why I'm calling you in specific is because people that were calling about our place, they're unhappy because they missed out and they want to buy some in the area. So I thought I would reach out to you and see if perhaps you folks had considered selling your property at all. Have you?
Absolutely not.
No, I don't blame you.
5 years and we love it.
I don't blame you. That's a beautiful area. You said you lived there how long?
5 years.
Oh, really? Oh, 5 years? No kidding. Wow. Yeah, you're just getting sort of settled in. You probably still got some boxes in the garage then, huh?
No boxes. We redid the garage. We're still finalizing all our remodels.
Oh, well, God bless your heart. That's awesome. Okay. Well, since I've got you here anyway, Mrs. Adams, do you happen to know of anyone else here in the area that would be open to an all-cash offer on an unwanted home?
I don't.
No worries. Well, listen, you be sure to stay out of this heat today. It's going to be a scorcher, okay?
We're just on our way back into it. We've been gone for almost a month.
Well, turn on the air conditioner and hop in the pool. Talk to you later.
Okay.
Have a great day.
Bye.
See ya. All right. Now, there we go. We're trying to get through this news here, but we're dialing 3 at a time. And boy, we had a list of the closest 100 people to this property. And as it worked out, we've called 87 of them so far. So we're coming to the end of the line here. It says that investors are buying more of the properties. It says big private equity firms, real estate speculators, and others that buy properties comprised more than 11% of U.S. home purchases in 2018.
Sorry, but the person you called has a voicemail box that has not been set up yet. Goodbye.
I think that was a typo because this article was written today, and it said that 11% of the home purchasers in 2018 released data. It says that CoreLogic released this data on Thursday. And if you read the article written by the Wall Street Journal, printed June 27th, 2019, which is today, okay, they were saying that this data came out Thursday, which would either be today, which is Thursday, or last week, which is Thursday. And they're saying that the data, I'm just reading it straight from their article, right? Says that big private equity firms, real estate speculators, and others that buy properties comprised more than 11% of U.S. home purchasers in 2018, according to data released on Thursday by CoreLogic. I think that's a typo because I think what they're really talking about is 11% of the U.S. home purchasers in 2019 so far. You could say that perhaps. I don't know about, or maybe if you're talking about all of 2018, but I don't know why you would have to wait until June to get that data. That seems rather dumb. I mean, you could have that data. CoreLogic would have that data prior to this. So it seems to me like this is a typo, but basically big commercial property owners like Blackstone Group, Starwood Capital Group began buying thousands of homes out of foreclosure during the housing bust. Many economists credit investors with helping to stabilize the market in 2011 and 12 by buying with cash when prices were low. Strong rental demand, technology that facilitates buying homes online, and low interest rates that make other investments less appealing have fueled investor appetite. Well, that's what you could say, but I don't think that's probably accurate. Hello?
Thanks for calling Whole Foods Market River Road, located at 5555 East River Road.
Well, that's in the right neighborhood, but that's not what I want.
Store hours are 6 a.m. to 10 p.m. Monday through Sunday.
Yeah. Hang up. Where's the wrong number here? All right. Hang on just a second here, folks. What I'm doing is I'm unlocking this so I can change that phone number so I won't call them again. Right? So wrong number. Delete. Don't count it. Unlock that number. Delete. Wrong number. Okay. There we go. All right. Had to delete that one because it was in the neighborhood, but it was the Whole Foods that's on the corner around the street, around the corner, I should say. It's in the neighborhood. It's just not who we want to call.
Hello?
Hi, this is Carl Krenzel. How are you?
Good. How you doing?
Hi, I'm well. Thank you. I was looking for the Wade residence over there on Roadrunner Haven Place. Have I got the right place?
Yeah.
Oh, perfect. Okay. Well, listen, my name's Carl Krenzel. I'm a broker over here at Sotheby's International Realty. We just sold that home over at 3640 North Calle Agua Verde. It was down the way from you. It was a 3-bedroom, 3-bath place. We sold it in 16 days for $425,000. Do you know of anybody else in that area who's interested in selling? Because we got some folks who are wanting to buy. Do you know anybody?
I have a vacant land. You want to buy a vacant land?
How much do you want for the vacant land?
$250.
That's a little steep, my friend. Okay. Well, listen, do you know anybody else?
No, I don't know anybody else.
All right, brother. Well, I appreciate your time, and I hope you have a great day. Thank you.
You should.
Take
You're
care.
welcome. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
So something to think about when people are talking to you about land, especially when it comes to raw land. Rosa?
Bueno.
Bueno, habla inglés.
Bueno.
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 Okay.
Ay, no puedo oír.
So what we're
No,
going to
deja tu mensaje con el tono. Beep.
beep. All right. Hang up. Okay. There we go. So, thing to think about when it comes to raw land.
Thank you for calling. For service, please press 1.
Is that the vacant land itself, if you're buying it so you can rebuild and build a building on it, you don't want the acquisition cost of the land and the final product in order for you to build on it. Once you've put the utilities in there, once you've leveled it out, graded it, straightened it out, got it all ready to go, the total cost of acquisition and preparation of the land in order for you to build on it, you don't want it to be more than 25% of the total cost of the home. So, for example, some guy tells you, I got some land next to my house and I'm selling it for $100,000. Then you could say, okay, well, and he says, well, it's got all the utilities there. And by the way, we just called up all that subdivision, all 100 of those numbers. We just completed calling all of those. Wow. Okay. So in any event, if he says, well, gosh, I got a lot I want to sell for $100,000. It's next to me. It's got, it's, kind of leveled out. You just got to build on it. You're going to still have to do some lot prep for sure. But if he's saying the utilities are already there, then that's a large part of the problem, right? So you just got to prep the land. And if he's saying I want $100,000 for it, or it's tax assessed at 120 or something along those lines, Well, then you figure, okay, well, 4 times that 100 would be what the house needs to be worth, no more than what the house is worth. Well, if you sold a home in the area for 425 and it's a 2,300 square foot property, well, then you know that chances are, if you build a 2,300 square foot place in that home in that area, maybe 425, 400 ish. So you don't want to spend more than 100 or so on the land to get it all ready. So you can already see that if one guy's saying that he's willing to sell his lot for 100, okay, then it's still a little high. You probably need to get less than 100 in order for it to make sense as a buildable lot, because you're still going to have to prep it. You're still going to have to get things ready, and you're still going to have to make it to where it's ready to go. And it's more than likely that it's not going to be a $400,000+ house that you're building in that neighborhood. I mean, 400,000 is about the top end, right? So then when you have another person tells you, well, I'll sell to you for 250,000. And you're still calling that same area, you know that that's not even close to reality. That's not even close. That's not even in the, like when people say, well, I want to get in the ballpark, that's not even in the ballpark. That's not even in the parking lot. You're out in the street by the stop sign turning into the ballpark. That's where you are with a $200 and something thousand request for your lot. Because why? Because in order for you to build, for that to make that work, it has to be no more than 25%, which means that's going to be an $800,000-$900,000 house by the time you get done building on it. In order for it to make sense, you have to build an $800,000 or $900,000 house on it. And in that neighborhood, when homes are selling at 425, you're not going to do it. That's how you can quickly tell if it's something that's a nonsense claim. That's why knowing the market is critically important. We're talking about this CoreLogic report saying that that there's a strong demand, obviously, for investors buying properties. They were saying that it's because of homes buying online, low interest rates, make other investments less appealing and fueled investor appetite. And that's kind of what we were talking about the other day when the interest rates in some of the other investments that are a little bit historically have been a little bit riskier and you got a little bit greater in interest rate. But if the interest rates on those risky investments, even if they're not that great, maybe real estate's not a bad appetite. Maybe that's not a bad place to go. And that's why you get a lot of people who are investing in the market. They're saying investors are an especially powerful force at the bottom of the market where they often pay cash, right? Now, here you are as an investor buying property. It says investors purchased 1 in 5 homes in the bottom third price range in 2018, right? Now, there's a couple things that I want to bring to your attention here. Says that we're talking about a couple different investors that I had read here. It says when Twan Davis launched a business renting out single family homes 3 years ago, he focused on Philadelphia because of the city's slow foreclosure process and history of disinvestment, he said. Mr. Davis typically purchases homes for $75,000 to $90,000, puts an additional $50,000 to $80,000 in renovation, and then rents them out for $1,300 a month. He's often welcomed in these neighborhoods because these modestly priced rental properties help act as a bulwark against gentrification. Many of these renters are work and single and work as nurses or adjunct professors, right? He says that they would much rather see him than a lawyer from New York. Now, when you think about it, okay, in your marketplace, how expensive are things to live? How things are they to buy and build? If you're like most areas, okay, you're probably in an area where building to rent is becoming very profitable. There's a lot of places where people cannot buy because of one reason or another. And as a matter of investment, what people will do is they will go ahead and buy property in that area and improve it for renting out, right? So building to rent is becoming a more popular thing to do, right? So the next step here before we get into that story, we're going to go ahead and call around this property that I just listed here recently. Again, trying to find buyers who would be interested in the property. So we're just calling the 50 around the home that I had listed. We're dialing into there 3 at a time. So we'll see what happens there while we talk about the build-to-rent build-to-rent housing market. This is, again, according to CNBC. Says that 3 points you want to take away from this. During the foreclosure crisis nearly 10 years ago. Oh, you know what? I've got the wrong number. I apologize. Sorry.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
Uh-huh. Not sure. Who that was. All right. There we go. There we go. So, says that during the foreclosure crisis nearly 10 years ago, investors plowed into the market, buying millions of distressed homes.
Hello?
Hi, this is Carl Krenzel. How are you?
Okay.
I'm not sure if I've got the right person. Are you the fellow who owns the property over there on Shorecliff Place, 225, the Simon residence?
Yeah.
Oh, perfect. Okay. Well, my name is Carl Krenzel. I'm a broker over here at Sotheby's International Realty. I've just listed that property for sale recently over there at 254 Shorecliff. It's just down the way from you. It's a 1,879 square foot place, and we're currently asking $289,000 for it. I was just calling to see if you happen to know of anybody who'd be interested in moving to the area. Do you know anybody?
No.
Okay, no problem. I'm just curious.
All right.
Have you thought about selling your property at all?
No. We're here for the rest of our lives.
Oh, well, good. Well, that sounds like that's going to be a good long time away. You sound very healthy.
I gotta go.
All right. You have a great day. Thank you. All right. Okay. Build to rent housing markets. This week, ERC Home Builders is launching a soft IPO, hoping to raise $100 million to build more than 1,000 rental homes across Florida. Oh boy. Right? Hello? Hello? Miss Gordon? Miss Blondes? Hello? I'm just going to get another call anyway. They're launching a soft IPO to raise $100 million to build more than 1,000 rental homes. The build to rent business is growing fast, with several companies, including big names, dipping into it. Toll Brothers. Hi, this is Carl Krenzel. How are you?
Good.
Yeah, I was looking for the Throckmortons. Have I got the right place? Oh boy. The build to rent business is growing fast, with several companies, including big names, dipping into it. Toll Brothers recently announced a $60 million investment in a joint venture with BB Living, a build to rent company based in Phoenix. Now, if you're in Phoenix, here in Arizona, you can immediately recognize how this is important, right? So when you think about it, okay, back in the day, back when the market crashed, investors were all buying all these investment properties and so on and so forth, and rehabbing them, right? Fixing them. They were also speculating, right? Nowadays, I see people doing the same sort of thing, except for the speculation, right? But what's happening now is because there's so much rehabbing going on, all right, so much business that's being done from investors rehabbing properties, putting them back on the market. It makes it difficult for first-time home buyers to buy property. Maybe you've had this situation where you've had a first-time home buyer been beaten out several times on a transaction, and they were trying to buy a property, and they wrote a letter saying how they got a family, this and that and the other, and they got beat out anyway. Right? Maybe that's happened to you. Okay. Well, you're going to start to see.
Sorry, but the person you called has a voicemail box that has not been set up yet.
You're going to start to see where people.
Goodbye.
You're going to start to see where people and companies are starting to build these places. All right, for rental income. Okay.
Sorry to miss your call. Please leave your name and number and a brief message, and I'll get back.
So Lennar, right? They kind of experimented with something like this with a build to rent community in Sparks, Nevada, and they've started something like that too. In 2017, 37,000 homes were built as rentals, according to the National Association of Home Builders. And that number increased to 43,000 last year, or just under 5% of all the total family housing starts. Now, when you think about it, okay, think about this. You've got a glut of new homes. It's taking 6.4 months to sell. You've got people rehabbing homes. It's taking longer to sell. Even in some places, the values are starting to tip. Why? Because people can't afford homes or the gentrification that's going on. And so you have people, whether it be companies like Lennar, Toll Builders, B&B, or small fellows like we just talked about, that guy in Philadelphia, who are building these rental type properties because they see this as an ancillary type of income. Okay. So understand, it's not just you. Okay. The reason why we bring these stories up every day during the prospecting, and I accept that it can be laborious. Okay. I can accept the fact that sitting here and listening to people call and talk and say no and all that can be very old very quickly. I get it. But the reason why we do this is so that you can sit here and listen to the news and understand it in a way that's going to be helpful in your marketplace. And you can help relate it to the clients, as you talk to them. So today, let's see a quick brief overcap of what we've talked number of people we talked to today. Today is June 27th. We called 26 expireds, 119 geo leads, which are just listed, just solds, things of that nature. 20 for sale by owners, 25 for rent by owners, 62 pre-foreclosures, which is a total of 252 leads. We made 354 calls, 38 contacts, dropped 5 voicemails, set 1 call back, and the total time on the phone was 1 hour and 27 minutes, right? So let's take a quick look at that callback that we had. And we'll see, it's been about 1 hour now, so let's see. See if we can end this on a high note. Callbacks. That's another cool thing, as I mentioned about the Vortex system, is you can go ahead and have your callbacks set up in here so you know exactly what you need to do and who you need to talk to. Looks like this is him right here. Yeah, Stephen. Yeah, that was him. Looks like I've got him here for a couple things. 27th and 8th. Interesting. All right, so what we're going to do, we're going to call him up right now. Let's see what the story is. All right. So, put this on speakerphone. See what happens. Maybe nothing.
Hello.
Hi, Mr. Soto.
Yes.
Hey, Steve Carl. This is you told me to give you a call back in about 1 hour. Is this a better time?
Yeah, it's a little better. I can help you.
Yeah, no problem. So real quick, you had a couple different properties that was for sale. I was just following up with you about it. One was on 8th and the other was on 27th. Whatever happened with those?
Nothing. They're still there for sale.
Oh, okay. All right. No worries. I'm a broker here in town with Sotheby's, and I noticed that is the 8th place, is that still on for 300 and the 27th place still for 250?
Yes.
Okay. All right. And I'm curious, about how long do you think you'll take before you'll consider interviewing a powerful agent to get those properties sold for you as opposed to just for sale by owner?
Well, the thing is that, I mean, I've already had some offers from people.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, it's not something where I'm like 911 need to sell them.
Mm-hmm.
I just put them up just to see what they can get. You know what I mean?
Okay.
And believe it or not, I can't believe some of the offers I've gotten. You know what I mean?
I totally believe it.
Yeah, like above what the market's at for those houses.
Mm-hmm.
So, but I'm like, no, I basically just put them out there just to see what I could get for them.
Are you? I'm curious. Are you renting those places out at all? You just want to just sell them all together, or have you rented them out?
No, they're already rented out.
Yeah. So both of these places are rental properties. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. And how long have you? May I ask how long have you owned these properties? Like more than 5 years?
No, probably less.
Okay.
I think like 4 years.
Well, the only reason why I'm asking is if you're selling both of these properties is your intention to just sell them, or is your intention to kind of keep them?
No, either or. I mean, if
Okay.
I get a good offer to come, I'll let them go. But if not, then I'll just keep them and continue renting them.
Well,
these are not these are the only ones that I have that are in my name. The other 15 are in the LLC.
Okay, gotcha. All right, no worries. Well, the only reason why I asked was I was just calling to see if perhaps you'd ever considered just doing a 1031 exchange on those and buying something up a little bit. Maybe it'll make you a little bit more money.
Yeah.
Had you considered that?
No, I hadn't.
I mean, are you familiar with a tax deferred exchange?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, 'cause I had another realtor that went over that with me.
Uh-huh.
He's like, "Hey, have you ever heard about this?" And then I told him no, and he explained everything to me.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's certainly something you may want to consider, because especially I don't know on those other 15 properties or whatever you may have, but do you have any of those properties as a duplex or triplex? Do you have any triplexes, duplexes, anything like that?
Yeah, I have 5 of them.
Okay, so then you immediately know exactly what I'm talking about, how it's way easier to get the money out of those, and they're a lot more profitable.
Yep.
So I'm wondering if and it may not be, I might be wrong, but if it was financially advantageous for you to sell these properties now, both of them, and do a 1031 exchange into something a little bit better like a duplex, would you?
It depends. Like you said, I might be wanting to do that just to check them out.
Okay. Well, I'll tell you what, I don't mind if it's okay with you, with your permission, I'll just do a little research on both of those properties, kind of get an idea of what I think that the maximum would be that you could probably get out of those. Okay. And then, we could sit down sometime over some coffee at a Starbucks or whatever, and we could kind of go over those numbers, and then you can figure out what's best for you. Would something like that help?
Yeah, that'll help out.
Okay. What would be a good time for us to get together? You got some time Friday, or would next Monday be better?
Probably next Monday.
How about Monday at, that's July 1st. How about 2:00?
Sounds good to me, bud.
Okay. Where do you want to meet, my friend? I don't know where you typically work. What part of town or anything? Steve? Uh-oh. Steve? Steve? Hello? Guess we'll call him back. Oh.
520
Here we go.
3055992.
All right, so what we're going to do here is we're going to text him now. So all right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to text him right here. Hey, Steve. When is a good time to talk about the houses? All right. And then what we're going to do is we're going to send over that little Prezi thing that we talked about before, right? So what we're going to do is we're just going to pull this up in our notes section right there, right? Copy that. And then put this as a paste, because he has an iPhone, right? You can see that right there on YouTube. And boom, you can see how it comes up as a little boom presentation there. So if he's serious, right, then he has a way to reach me. I have a way to reach him, and we will talk. But if he's not interested, then I'm not going to worry about it. It's not the end of the world. All right. So what we're going to do, you heard a couple things there. That first, he has 16 other properties in a LLC somewhere or something like that, which is good. One thing you definitely want to consider if you're new is going after people who have multiple properties like this, because it eliminates you from having to make 16 different presentations to 16 different people. If you could talk to one person who has 16 properties who's considering selling, then that is significantly better than talking to 16 different people who you'd have to figure something out with. Well, I tried, did the best I could, and unfortunately we were not able to get any appointments today. So we will go ahead and keep up with this a little bit later on this afternoon. No hope lost. There is no bad thing. You want to consider this every day, just in baseball, right? I mean, that's the best way I heard somebody say it on the Red X the other day. This is a lot like playing baseball. You can have 6-7 innings where nothing will happen, and then you're geared up for that one moment where there's a crack at the bat, and then the next thing you know, it's showtime. Wasn't showtime for the last 2 hours. We went over some good information. Hopefully you learned something, and if you didn't, well, I'm sorry. We tried, but hopefully you did. And if you did, do me a favor. Share the podcast. Let somebody know about it. Tell me what you learned. I'd love to hear about it in the comments section, what you thought was the best thing you heard. And until the next time, I hope you have a powerful sales day. Bye-bye.